Hey guys, and welcome to Methods Challenge Mode Guide for Auchindoun. I'm Chris Potter, and here with me is Zerbs.
Hey guys.
As with all of our CM guides, we're not going to use any super exploits or try-hard tactics. We're just going to show you a nice, clean, easy way to get through the dungeon. So in this first room, there are 3 different packs, and you can pull them all together if you're feeling excited, but we're just going to pull one at a time to show you a really easy way to do it. In each pack there's one mob in particular to watch out for, and in this first one it's the Soul Binder. You can see we killed it really fast, but if you don't kill it that fast it will cast a mind control spell. And you need to interrupt that, otherwise one player in your group is going to get mind controlled for a long time and it can really easily lead to a wipe. On the second pack, the mob to watch out for is the Spirit Tender. The Spirit Tender does a spell called Void Bending, and this needs to be interrupted. The Spirit Tender will cast it quite often, so make sure you assign your interrupts or just talk about it, how you're going to use them in order. Make sure all of them get interrupted. If they do go through, you can dispel it with an offensive magic dispel like Trank Shot or Dispel Magic, but it's a lot easier just to interrupt it. On the third pack, the mob to watch out for is the Cleric. But unlike the other 2 packs with the mobs to watch out for, the Cleric actually can't be interrupted, but he does have a spell that you need to stop. His spell is called Void Shell, and the way you want to stop this is by using other forms of CC, such as stuns or knockbacks, fears, that kind of thing, because, as I said, you can't use real interrupts on it, and if that goes through, it's going to put a big absorb on them, which again can be offensively dispelled, but it's a lot easier if you just stop it going through by stunning it and knocking him back.
And after finishing off the last pack of trash, we get to the first boss. The boss will, as you can see here, stand on the right side and he will launch himself into the middle of the room and you'll engage him. As you can see here, I'm standing outside of the room. You can do this as a ranged, because that will avoid you getting any mechanics and you won't take damage from anything. The first ability he'll cast is the Circles on the ground, which you can see Chris here, he gets I think 3 in a row. What you need to do is you simply just move out of it, because once it's retracted itself to its minimum, if you stand in it, by then it's gonna bloom and you're gonna take a lot of damage. You can see here Roger's gonna take some damage, and yeah, you should really try and avoid as much damage as possible. Here he'll cast AoE on them and they will bloom again. He'll also cast the Sanctified Strike, which is a frontal cleave. He will do, and the small crackles on the ground will light up after a short amount of time. Don't stand in them, you'll take damage and it's really avoidable, so just try and help you heal as much as possible. After that, he will cast his shield down and he will cast his Consecrated Light, which is his big AoE effect. You need to hide from this unless you're either a tank or a guy with a lot of big personals.
Now after the boss is dead, we're going to head back to the corridor where we started, but instead we're going to go the other way, obviously. Now in this corridor there's lots of small packs of just 2 or 3 mobs, and they're not really too dangerous. We do pull a couple of the packs together, but you don't want to go too crazy. Now with these mobs, what you want to watch out for, the Arbiter, you can see we've marked with a red cross here, does a spell called Arbiter's Hammer, which is a big stun that they'll try and do on the tank, and you want to interrupt this because it's obviously really bad to have your tank stunned. You can see there it casts it and we just interrupt it, nice and easy. The Magus or Magus that you see there has a spell called Arcane Bomb, and this will spin around it and it can't be interrupted, and it does a lot of damage if you stand it. It can be really deadly to melee and tanks, so if you're a melee, just be really careful of that way you're standing, that it's not killing you. And the Soul Priest on this next pack has a spell called Psychic Terror, which is going to spawn these void zones on the ground, and when it finishes the cast, anyone in it is going to get feared for a really long time. And this fear can't be dispelled, but there will be a Psy Fiend or Void Fiend, whatever you want to call it, will chase you around on the ground that can be killed to free that person from the fear. But you really don't want that to happen, so just don't stand in the purple swells. Really bad to happen to you. Here we have a Mage and Arbiter together again. You just want to avoid the charge that the Arbiter does and interrupt it, as I said before. And be careful melee of the Arcane Bomb. Our tank and our melee DPS do drop a bit low here because it is really hard to avoid all of them. Now just ahead here you'll see there's a much larger pack at the end of the corridor, and this is why we save cooldowns for this. This pack is really deadly because of the Warden mob, and after a few seconds the Warden will grip everyone into him. Along with the Warden though, there are similar mobs that we've just seen. The Mage mob with the Arcane Bomb, the Soul Priest with the Psychic Terror on the ground there that you don't want to stand in. And you can see right now he's going to do the grip. And you do get rooted for 3 seconds. And this is really, really bad because there's so much stuff on the ground, the Arcane Bomb spinning around. You really don't want to be there. So we use a Stampeding Roar to get out first. But if you don't have a Druid, you can use other movement impairing, freedoming effects to get out of there nice and quickly.
After finishing off the last trash pack, we get onto the second boss. This boss has basically 4 abilities. The first one is the Mind Spark, which he will cast on the tank. You'll try to just interrupt this as much as possible, but if it goes through, it shouldn't be anything major. He'll also cast a Shadow Word Pain on a random target in the group. As you can see here, Ryan just got it and I just dispelled it immediately. If you're a DK, you can however simulacrum it and steal it and put it on the boss, and it will do a significant amount of damage, especially here in challenge mode. After that, she'll cast her AoE, the Soul Vessel. She will put a ground effect on the ground and your group should move to it. Maybe even your tank, but we have a DK who can stand out and basically tank all the damage, so he just stands out, doesn't take too much damage, and the rest of us goes in to make sure we won't die. The boss should hear, she disperses and she should cast some ads, but we have a bit too good DPS that we won't see them. Those ads don't really do anything, they'll simply just get cleaved down with the boss, nothing major. And she'll continue on casting Mind Spike and her Shadow Word Pain on a random target. And after finishing that boss, we move further in the corridor and we see this NPC. He's supposed to lead the way for us to go, but he's gonna get demolished here by this Infernal that's gonna come down. What we recommend here is that you kill this Infernal before you continue your journey further into the corridor. Try to use as much CC on it as possible, Chains of Ice, Roots, Grips, just try to keep it away from the fixated target. Because if he reaches that target, he will do a significant amount of damage and you'll most likely die. As you see here, one hit took 1/3 of his health and Roger almost dies here. But we manage, we grip him away and we kill it off. After Infernal, we come to the Pyromanics. These Pyromanics have a 5-second cast. And they will target a random player in the group, and if they get the cast through, it will do just around half health in damage. So you really try to interrupt it as much as possible. After that we get to a Felguard. The Felguard has the frontal cleave, as you can see it's going to cast it soon, and the tank will simply just step to his right or his left to avoid the knockback, and the first stomp here, yes. Brian does get knocked back though, but it shouldn't be too major. There's also the small patrols of the small Pyromanics that's going right left. They don't really have a specific pattern, but they're really annoying, because if you stand close to them, you're gonna get disoriented for 3 seconds, and it can be really annoying. After that pack, we get to the next big pack with Pyromanics. These Pyromanics, you probably want to use a big AoE interrupt, and the Blood of Silence is really good here to get them stacked up so you can AoE them down even faster. And we move on to the Trash 4 just before the boss, where the DK grip, the mass grip he has, is really good. Because you can engage these packs one at a time, but it's so much more efficient to have all 3 at once if you have the DK. Brian's going to go in the middle, he's going to cast his Defile, and he's going to grip them in. Here we have the same mobs, the Pyromanics and the Felguards from before. The Felguards, as you know, have the frontal cleave, and the Pyromanics have the 5-second cast, which they need to interrupt it or people are going to die. As you can see here, we don't interrupt and Brian dies immediately. I res him up and I think I died to healing aggro here, but it shouldn't be too major. Again, this frontal cleave is actually a lot easier to dodge than Brian makes it look here. As you see the cast, you simply just take 1 step to the left or to the right and you're out of it.
Okay, so after you finish that pack, the boss will spawn immediately. And you want to be careful because, as I said, it will spawn immediately where it drops down. And you can see we pull it unintentionally straight away. If you're not ready to pull, make sure that you're not standing there. Now in the first phase, the boss is pretty simple. He has his Fell Lash ability, which is just a knockback on the tank that does some damage. And he also has this ability called Curtain of Flame. The Curtain of Flame is just a ticking dot. But the most dangerous thing about it is that it will spread to anyone standing close to you. So when it It's about to come out, and once it's out, make sure that you spread out. If you have the debuff, be really careful not to run over anyone else. Now when the boss flies up, he's going to summon lots of different adds. He's going to summon the disorientating small imps that run around, as well as these crackling pyromaniacs, and one Felguard. The pyromaniacs can be killed, but what we think is the best way to deal with them is just to CC them. One of them we don't CC here, and we do just cleave that down, but as you can see we trap the other two, and the tank just picks up the Felguard. After a short time the boss will land again, and he'll continue his abilities from phase 1, so make sure that you're spreading out to not spread the curtain of flame around. In this phase, just be careful of any imps that are still alive that you've kept CC'd, make sure they are re-CC'd, and that you don't get disorientated by the small imps still running around. It's important when you kill the boss here that you check if anyone has the curtain of flame, because the curtain of flame will persist after the boss dies, and if you all group up as you move to the next trash, it's actually going to spread to everyone and it's going to be really annoying to deal with. But as you can see, we don't have it, and we take this teleporter straight to the next trash, which actually teleports you instantly on challenges mode, whereas on heroic and normal it doesn't. Now each of these trash mobs are a warlock and its pet. So on this first one we have this warlock and the imp. The warlock will do this chaos wave ability, which will do a lot of damage if you get hit by it, and it knocks you back, so make sure you dodge that. And the imp itself will just do a fell bolt at random targets, as well as temporarily heal the boss, but it's not for much. You can see here the boss just tried to cast Grimoire of Servitude, and what this will do is summon a Fell Hunter. This Fell Hunter will try to interrupt the healer, and it's a really long interrupt and it can be really dangerous. You can wipe very easily. So make sure you interrupt that. And then we finish off the mob.
Yeah, we go into the next pack. This pack is again a warlock and his pet. The warlock here will cast Shadow Bolt on the tank, which is really nothing major. He will also cast a Drain Life, so what you want to do here is to just let him cast Shadow Bolt freely, and you want to keep your interrupt for his Drain Life, because Drain Life is going to heal him and it's going to do a significant amount of damage. The pet here will call Wrath Storm, and it's a big spinning AoE which will do a lot of damage if you stand close to him. The ideal way to deal with it is to have a tank, or anyone really, to stun him as soon as he starts casting. Once you stun him, he will stop his cast and he will just continue just be a trash mob, and you'll just simply deal with him. Here you can see he gets his full cast through, and Ryan takes a lot of damage, but we managed to keep him up. After finishing off the second pack here, we're going to get to the third and last pack before the last boss. This pack here, he's going to sack his pet immediately and giving him a damage increase in buff. The first ability he'll cast is Incinerate, which is his go-to spell. He'll cast it all the time and you simply just don't interrupt, just don't even care about it. After that he will cast Rain of Fire, and this Rain of Fire does a lot of damage if you don't move the boss out of it and your melee stand in it. As you can see here, Ryan and Knuppler almost dies, but they move out in the last second. He also has an Immolate, which is an interruptible spell, but you want to let it through if you have a DK. Your DK can Simulacrum it, and you can steal it and you can use it on the boss further on. Your healer simply needs to dispel the effect on the player he puts it on, and you should be good to go.
Now after taking that last portal, it will actually take to the boss platform, where we fight Teron Gor. Interestingly, for a bit of lore info here, Teron Gor is actually Gorfiend that you may have fought in Hellfire Citadel. Now the boss just starts with Shadow Bolt, and then he's gonna summon this Infernal. And this Infernal is like the one from earlier in the instance, it's just gonna fixate ranged players and chase after them. Again, we just use Zerup's Entangling Roots to keep him far away, and we just focus on nuking the boss, not wasting any DPS on the Infernal. Now, the boss will do Rain of Fire, and it's just like the other trash mob, you want to move out of it, otherwise it's going to do a lot of damage to you. You can see here the boss also just did a Chaos Bolt, and it targets a random player, and it was going on Roger Brown, and luckily Knuppler actually vigilance Roger Brown to save him, because Roger didn't deterrence in time, but you can deterrence that, or reflect it in any way. You can also interrupt the Chaos Bolt to stop it going through at all, but We like to let it through because we want to try and reflect it with either the Deterrence Reflect glyph or the Warrior Reflect. But for some reason we didn't manage to reflect it there. I think Roger just forgot the Deterrence, and that's why we had to use the Vidge to save him. Now the boss fight does go on for a long time. You're going to get these other debuffs such as this Doom I have here. It just does a lot of damage after a certain amount of time, but usually you will kill the boss way before those debuffs really matter. That concludes our guide for the Auchindoun challenge mode, and we hope you found it useful. Please like the video, leave a comment, and we'll see you guys next time. That's all for now, guys. Bye.
See you next time, guys.